foggy forecast. Good morning to you.
That's right. It's that fog that's going to slow you down this morning. Most of the roads are nice and dry, but perhaps some mist embedded within some of these thicker clouds will be found out the door this morning. Not looking too bad around Harris County, or at least in this pocket of area. Looking for temperature readings this morning, somewhere into the mid-60s. We've got a stalled front. Hey, can you guys switch over to Max 1? I think this is a different Max behind me. Yeah, okay, there it is. Okay, mid-60s, meanwhile, down along the coastline in the lower 70s. We've got a northerly breeze, so we're gonna see temperature readings fall this morning in the upper 50s around Conroe, 62 degrees in the Cleveland area. Now, the dry air coming down with that northerly wind is gonna help thin out those clouds, and that boundary that's stalled out, that's gonna continue to wash away. So for the majority of the day, we're gonna see some sunshine, we're gonna see some lower humidity, and temperature readings will warm. We're starting off this morning with temperature readings somewhere in the 50s and 60s, and then you'll notice that climb. I'm thinking by 9 a.m., 71 degrees. It's still going to be foggy in some spots, okay? So by 11 a.m. and noontime, a better shot of seeing that sunshine. Some of you may even get lucky and see that sunshine before 9 o'clock, but there could be a few counties, a few cities that will be dealing with those low clouds, that low cloud deck. And then by 3 o'clock or so, temperature readings in the lower 80s. Now, if you like that sunshine, you like the low humidity, we've got a couple days of that, and then we're going to see the return of some warm, sticky conditions. I've got the timeline on when that returns, along with these cold fronts coming up in my full forecast, ladies.
All right, thank you so much, Elita. Well, it's fog this morning. As I was driving in, I was like, wait, are we dealing with fog this morning?
Yeah, you and I both. Yeah, we've got a boundary that's stalled out, and it's the focus point of some of this fog this morning. And it is widespread. Numerous counties under a dense fog advisory until 9 o'clock before we slowly start to see some improvement. So let me just show you some of the counties being impacted by very poor visibility due to that low ceiling. Washington County, Austin County, Colorado County, right around Katy right now between Waller and Fort Bend County, also dealing with some very soupy conditions, and also to the north and off toward the east. So as I mentioned, most of our counties under a dense fog advisory until 9 o'clock this morning. Now, once the sun comes up, that sunshine is going to help scour out those clouds, thin out those clouds. So by this afternoon, we're anticipating mostly sunny conditions with temperature readings leaning closer to the lower 80s, but also a drop in humidity with that drier air in place. And that dry air will cool temperatures off overnight. We'll take a look at those numbers and, of course, the numbers with your 10-day coming up in just a few minutes.
Well, back here at home, we're dealing with other conditions like this fog advisory, Elita. Is this for everybody?
The majority. I mean, the number of counties I've been showing you pretty much includes most of our viewing area, with the exception of a couple of counties down along the coastline, but it does include Houston, much of Harris County. Right now, quarter of a mile of visibility around midnight around the Tomball area, and as of this hour, you're seeing more of this pockets of fog starting to set up. So we'll continue to see conditions worsen before they improve. They won't be improving until after 9 o'clock this morning. That's when we anticipate the dense fog advisory to finally lift. Otherwise, it's a clear start to the morning, at least from this vantage point. Our memorial camera pointing in the direction of downtown. Got you down for a temperature reading of 65 degrees. Temperature readings have cooled off as the breeze is flowing in from the north. Right now, the winds at Bush Airport are reporting calm conditions. That breeze down along the coastline right around 7 miles per hour along our coastal communities. Galveston right now at 73 degrees, Katy at 64, Bay City into the mid-60s, upper 50s right now in Conroe. So may need a light jacket this morning, but you won't need it this afternoon. You can see some of the temperatures in our far north and northeast counties will be just a touch cooler in the upper 70s to low 80s there. Meanwhile, down to the south and west of town, out toward Jackson County, toward Edna, we're talking a high today of 87, so closer to hitting the 90-degree mark. Temperatures are going to stay above normal, not just during the afternoon, but also during the overnight hours, just a few degrees warmer than normal. Now, this time of year, we should be hovering somewhere into the low 50s, and we may not get to that low until maybe the middle part of next week, when temperature readings are expected to take more of a tumble. But here's where the boundary is right now, and where that boundary is set up is where we've got the focus point of that dense fog. Remnants of Raphael still bringing some rain around portions of New Orleans, around the northern Gulf Coast. We are nice and dry. We're on the dry side of that system, but our next cold front is now impacting the Pacific Northwest, and we'll be watching it as it expands and pushes toward the east sometime by Wednesday morning into our state. And over the next 7 days, you're noticing there's not going to be a lot of rain, but we've got a little bit of color here on the map. Definitely not as much rain as we saw in previous weeks that actually helped our drought. This is what the drought situation looked last week. We were in severe drought, and with the latest rains over the past week, take a look. We are still in drought, but no longer are we seeing severe drought. So hopefully with a little bit of rain coming up this week, that first chance of rain coming in on Wednesday, it's a slim chance, but at least it's a chance, a 20% chance that should limit any sort of drought from worsening. And you can see that those rain chances will be going up as we get into the weekend and beyond, as we draw in a little bit more moisture over the weekend. There's not really a focus point for some wet weather until we get into early next week. That's when a few thunderstorms return, with temperature readings expected to drop behind our next cold front by next Wednesday. Yeah, we're already looking ahead to next Wednesday when we'll see another drop in temperatures. Those temperature readings will fall somewhere in the upper 50s in the morning with highs in the mid 70s.
Thanks, Elita.